Welcome to the continuation of coordination. So far, we've looked at the introduction to coordination, we've looked at the endocrine system, we've looked at the nervous system, we've looked at the brain and drug abuse. In this video, we're going to take a look at sense organs, where we're going to start with the eye. Then in the next video, we're going to take a look at the ear. So we have 5 sense organs. That's why when we say we have 5 senses, we mean the sense organs. Okay, so these are the eye, the skin, the nose, the tongue, the ear. Okay, so the eye detects light, the skin detects touch, temperature, pressure and pain, the nose chemicals in air, the tongue chemicals in food, the ear sound, energy, balance or posture and pressure. So this is the front view of the eye. It's made of the eyebrows and the eyelashes, whose job is to trap dust to make sure dust doesn't go inside the eye. Then we have the cornea. This cornea is attached to what is called the sclera. So this white color that you see is because of the sclera, not the cornea. The cornea is transparent. Okay, then after the cornea we have the iris and we have the pupil. Okay, so let's take a look at the side view of the eye with all the parts shown. So in front of the eye here we have the cornea. Okay, so the cornea refracts light. So as light is coming, when it hits the cornea, it is allowed to enter the eye, and also it is bent a bit. Bending light is called diffraction. Okay, so the cone is transparent, meaning that it doesn't have color and it allows light to pass through. Okay, so other than the cornea, here there's also this part, the sclera. So the sclera is attached to the cone. The difference is the cone is transparent, while the sclera is whitish in color. Okay, and has got some strong tissues, and it's the one that protects the eye against injuries. Okay, other than this, when light is coming, it will pass the cornea and the sclera, then it will enter this part. This part is made of fluids. It's called an aqueous humor. So this aqueous humor gives this part of the eye its shape. Then after the aqueous humor, light will pass here through the pupil, okay, and the iris. Okay, so the pupil, its job is just to allow light to pass. Then the iris, it controls the shape of the pupil. Okay, the pupil changes shape depending on the situation. So that's how it is. Then after this, we have got this part which is called a lens. So the function of a lens is to refract light. To refract light, like I said, is to bend light. So light, as it is coming, it has to be bent. So the whole reason of refracting light is to make sure that light reaches this part here, which is the yellow spot. Okay, when light reaches the yellow spot, the images are going to be clear, but when it reaches another part of the eye, the images are not going to be clear. Okay, so the job of the lens is to make sure that light reaches the yellow spot. Then attached to the lens are these here, which are called suspensory ligaments. So the function of the suspensory ligaments is to control the shape of the lens. Also attached to the suspensory ligaments are a ciliary body, which also has ciliary muscles. So these ciliary body and ciliary muscles, they control the shape of the suspensory ligaments, which also controls the lens. Okay, then this part is made of the vitreous humor, whose job is to give the eyeball its shape. So this shape of the eyeball comes from the vitreous humor. Okay, then other than that, this part is made of a retina. So this retina is made of 2 types of cells. There's this part for the yellow spot, and this part for a blind spot. The yellow spot is also called the fovea centralis. Okay, so when images hit the yellow spot, then they are going to be clear. When they hit the other parts of the eye, they are not going to be clear. And when they hit the blind spot, then nothing is going to be seen. So the reason is, on the blind spot there is nothing here, there are no sensory cells. Okay, Therefore, what is here are just optic nerves. So when information has been gathered by the eye, the information is sent to the brain through these optic nerves, which are just neurons. Okay, so other than that, there is also this black part here, which is called the choroid. So this black part here is the choroid. So the choroid prevents what is called internal refraction. When light is coming, it hits here. Instead of bouncing, it's absorbed by the choroid. So it's dark in color, and this color makes sure that light is not reflected. Therefore, it prevents what we call internal refraction. Okay, so these are the parts of the eye. So let's just take a look at some of the parts and just emphasize a few points. So we start with the sclera, which protects the eye against damage and provides attachment for external eye muscles which move the eye in its sockets. It's white and opaque. Opaque meaning that you can't see what is behind it. It doesn't allow light to just pass through it. Then we have the cone, which is transparent as opposed to the sclera, which is opaque. It refracts light rays from an object. Then we have the choroid, which is a dark layer that also contains blood vessels. It emits internal refraction because of its dark color, so that clear images are formed. But these blood vessels do more. They provide the eye with food and oxygen to the cells of the retina using the mentioned blood vessels. The next is a retina, which is a layer containing light-sensitive cells where images form and light energy is converted to nerve impulses. Okay, there are two types of light-sensitive cells found on the retina. These are cones and rods. Okay, so the cones form clear or detailed images when there is high light intensity. Well, the rods, on the other hand, by the way, the portion of the retina having the high concentration of cones is called the yellow spot and forms the most detailed color images, like I said. So there are two types of light sensitive cells, cones and rods. The cone, like I said, is the yellow spot is one that has a lot of cones. That's why that, like I said, has a lot of light sensitive cells. And when light reaches the cone, the yellow spot, the images from that light are going to be clear. The rods, on the other hand, form red, black, and white images at low light intensity. So let's take a look at some functions of the eye. So, of course, image formation, also focusing and accommodation. So the eye forms image, it also performs focusing and accommodation. To focus is to change certain parts of the eye so that an image is clear. Accommodation is when something is very far, then it's going to be seen, or something is very near, it's going to be seen. So we're going to go through each of them, so don't worry, I'll explain well. Then also it does pupil or iris reflex. When someone is about to touch your eye, then your eye will just close. That's one function of the eye, so that it protects the internal structure. So how are images formed? So first, the images that are formed, they are inverted. When you see something in your eye, it's upside down. It's your brain that's going to interpret that. But in your eye, inside your eye, it will be upside down. Also, they are diminished. They are smaller than the object. When you see a tree that is taller than you, it won't be taller. The image of the tree won't be taller than you inside your eye. Otherwise, the image might come out from your head going up. So the images are smaller than the actual object. Also, these images are real. What it means by being real is they can be produced on screens. So, like I said, even though the images are inverted, they are seen the right way up because the brain gives the correct interpretation of the images. So even though the images appear to be upside down in your eye, your brain is going to interpret them as being right way up. So now we go into focusing and accommodation. So focusing is basically the formation of a clear image on the retina. So when light is not reaching the retina, the image is not going to be clear. So for that image to be clear, it has to be the light from the object has to reach the retina. So the process is called focusing. Now, how that focusing happens has to do with a process called accommodation, which is just the process by which the eye forms a focused image on the retina by adjusting the thickness and length of the lens using suspensor ligaments and ciliary muscles in response to the distance of the object away from the eye. So basically, this is just the process by which the eye is going to adjust the thickness and length of the lens, okay, depending on how far the object is from the eye. So we're going to look at two scenarios, how the light rays from an object that is near to the eye looks, and what the eye does to make sure that the rays from that object reach the retina. So if you look at this situation here, for an object that's near, light will be coming like this, okay? So when light reaches here, it's going to be bent, okay, by the cone. So once light is bent, it's going to pass through here, okay? So now for this light to reach the yellow spot, this has to adjust, okay? It should have a certain shape. So how does it, what shape does it have, and what happens? So the first thing is the ciliary muscles are going to contract. When they contract, the suspensory ligaments are going to be in a state called slack. To be in a slack state is not to be stretched, to be loose. So when they are loose, this one is going to be thick. The lens is going to be thick and shorter. It's going to be thick and shorter. When it's thick and shorter, then the light rays are going to be bent so that they go to the retina, okay? So in short, when the object is near, the lens is going to be thick and shorter. The suspensory ligaments are going to be slacked or not stretched, and the ciliary muscles are going to be to be in a contract state. So these are the state of the three parts of the three parts of the eye that help in accommodation. The ciliary muscles contract, the suspensory ligaments won't be stretched, and the lens is going to be thick and short. So the opposite situation is when the object is far. So when the object is far, the rays are going to come like this. They're going to be parallel. So when they reach the cone, they're going to be bent a bit like this. So since they are bent a bit, the rays has to be longer, okay, and thinner. So how can it be longer and thinner? The idea is, since they are bent a bit, so for them to be to be refracted so that they reach the retina, the lens has to be longer and thinner, okay? So how can this be longer and thinner? First, the ciliary muscles are going to relax, then this will make the suspensory ligaments to be taut or stretched. So when the suspensory ligaments are taut or stretched, then the lens is going to be longer and thinner. When the lens is longer and thinner, then the rays from light are going to be bent to reach the retina. So this is accommodation. Finally, we look at pupil or iris reflex. So this is just the adjustment of the diameter of the pupil by circular and radial muscles of the iris in response to changes in light intensity. So when you go in a dark room, there's going to be a change in the size of your pupil. And when you go somewhere where there's light, the size is going to be different. So for us to understand that, we need to understand two muscles of the pupil, the circular muscles and radial muscles. Circular and radial muscles. So we have a pupil here. So this is the iris. So the iris has these black ones, the thick black lines, which are secular. These are called secular muscles. Then we have these ones. These are radial muscles. Okay, so these are all radial muscles. So radial muscles and secular muscles behave in a certain way to adjust the size of the pupil. So in bright light, in the brightest of days, what happens? So in a room that is bright, or when you just go outside during daytime, what happens is the secular muscles, these ones are going to contract. Okay, when they contract, the radial muscles are going to be in a relaxed situation. The contracting of the secular muscles are going to make the pupil constrict, or to become narrow, or to become smaller. Okay, so in bright light, your pupil is going to be very small, and this is going to be caused by the action of secular muscles and radial muscles. Secular muscles contract, radial muscles relax. The opposite happens in a dark room. So in dim light or dark room, this is what happens. The secular muscles are going to be in a relaxed situation. Well, the radial muscles are going to contract. The contracting of the radial muscles they are going to pull the pupil, so that the pupil becomes bigger. So we say the pupil has dilated or has become wider. So dilated, it is to become wider. Constrict is to become smaller. Okay, so the dilation of the pupil in dim light is caused by the radial muscles contracting. Okay, the secular muscles will be in a relaxed state. Okay, so this is the mechanism. So it is expected of you to know the behavior of secular muscles and radial muscles, and also the shape of the pupil. Does it dilate? Does it constrict in dim light and also in bright light? So this marks the end of the fourth part of coordination. The last part, we're going to take a look at the ear, but we are also going to take a look at some parts of the eye. There are some scenarios, some concepts that we haven't discussed. So we're going to finish up the eye in the last video, and also the ear. Happy solving.